Welcome to TWitWoW, the best wrestling podcast made for wrestling fans by wrestling fans on the web today. I'm John. That's my cohort and commentary, Ashton. And this is the week in review. And let's not bury the lead here. AJ Lee is back. She had a return segment on SmackDown. It was teased on Raw. Becky Lynch getting up in CM Punk's face and, clearly showing that she is going to be a more integral part of the Seth Rollins slash The Vision and CM Punk feud. So obviously, as a counterbalance, AJ Lee returning, it's the perfect way to kind of, segue her in. And I thought the return segment was great. Got a massive pop for it. I think fans already knew it was coming because there were AJ Lee chants even before Punk kind of dropped the segue on the mic, like, "Oh, but I'm not gonna put my hands on a woman, but I know someone who will." Then AJ Lee's music hits. Still, though, a massive pop for her. I actually watched a video uploaded on the WWE YouTube channel. I think like after the show went off the air, and the big thing is because the news has come out now that she signed a full-time multi-year deal. The big thing was at one point she gestures because Becky left her women's intercontinental title like in the ring because Seth Rollins kind of carried her off while he was screaming at Punk, I hate you kind of thing. AJ picks up the title and she's like dancing. She's doing like her skip around with it and she's posing with it and everything. And it got a nice reaction from the crowd. So I'm wondering if Becky's going to drop that women's intercontinental title to AJ, which could be fascinating because if it's a multi-year full-time deal, you could get Lyra back in the hunt. Lyra facing AJ, I think would be great. And so not to run away with the ball here because you're here too. I want to know first what you thought of the return segment in general. And then in your mind, what you would like to see just as a fan from this multi-year run coming from AJ Lee? Like what's one match above all else that you would love to see? Stuff like that. So how are you feeling about it, partner?
Uh, I think it's really cool that she's back, and I am definitely looking forward to her being back, not just in general, but as a full-time worker. That's really exciting. As far as the segment itself goes, though, I wasn't that much of a fan of it. It felt like they were really dragging it out for the sake of like suspense, basically, when literally everyone knew it was coming, and I would have preferred if they had just ripped the band-aid off a little bit. Um, in terms of her actual return, though, I thought it was done pretty damn well. Um, you know, the long sort of like anticipatory wait while her music is playing before she actually stepped out. She's back to doing her skip. She looks fantastic. She's probably in better shape than she was the last time she was wrestling. And then the Thez presses on Becky looked great. Her punches looked like potatoes. Like she was really laying it in there. And obviously they weren't actually because we would have probably seen a picture of Becky with a few bumps and bruises on her face. So just fantastic work punches from AJ Lee. I think I would have liked to have seen an octopus,
Yeah.
but the
I
idea
yeah.
that she returned to help her husband with this woman who is a bully towards him works, and elevating it then to the level of not only is she back to defend her husband, she's back to maybe even take the title away from Becky entirely. That I think is really cool too. So there were very few things about this that I didn't think were well done, and really the worst thing about it to me was them like trying to pretend that there was any level of suspense as far as whether she was there or not, because obviously she was there.
Yeah, I agree with that point. I think my nitpick. So first of all, just coming from my side of things, because again, I didn't want to run the ball down the field. I wanted to get your thoughts before I did that. I agree with you completely about her, just like her appearance and her physique. She looks incredible. I agree with you in the Discord that she has not aged a day. She looks so ring ready. In fact, she looked so good. I will be excited for her first official match, which is probably going to be WrestlePalooza,
Yeah.
an intergender tag match with Punk. I'm almost wondering now. This is just me being me, so you guys feel free to dismiss it or hang on to it because who knows? They might actually do it. I'm wondering because we've seen this a few times in WWE history, if it's going to be a tag match, but with the titles on the line. And, maybe the champions do find a heel way to win. Like, I don't think AJ really loses anything if Becky cheats to, say, steal a pin or something from her. And then you set up the one-on-one match where AJ can just focus entirely on her. Doesn't have to worry about like Punk or Seth. It could just be their one-on-one match, and that could be our first big one-on-one match. And then AJ wins the title. Because I think this story, in my mind, really exemplifies the quintessential chase above all others, because you want to see Punk, and I'm using a general you here. I personally couldn't care either way. I mean, Punk is fine, but I would prefer if Sammy, a character like Sammy, was chasing Seth at the moment. But you want to see Punk win the title and actually be able to hang on to it. This is clearly a long form story, so the heels still finding a way to kind of hold on to it. I think is kind of what Triple H is envisioning. But yeah, I could see both titles being on the line at WrestlePalooza in a tag match. And, Punk and AJ, they're so unified, and maybe even see some tension between Seth and Becky and kayfabe, of course, because it's like, well, hey, you're not the only one risking here something, buddy. My title's on the line here, too. Or they might just do a standard tag match, which I think is more likely. Either way, I think you got some great hype for it just with AJ looking as great as she does, the crowd receiving her the way that they did. My only nitpick personally was Becky, because this kind of ties into your point too that we all knew it was coming. Like Becky acting like she's seen a ghost and doing the head shake thing and like, no, I don't believe it. I don't believe it. Like you're not real. And just really like selling like this fear. I'm not saying she shouldn't be intimidated by AJ, but I feel like a heel like Becky, that fear should be communicated through false bravado. Like Becky, when she heard the AJ Lee chants before Punk even did his verbal segue, should have been, it wouldn't even matter if it was AJ Lee. I'll smack the taste out of your wife's mouth too, or whatever, something to that effect, right?
Yeah.
And she would just be projecting that confidence. Instead, you'd think it was like somebody in an angle with The Undertaker, because Randy Orton was really good at that when he was feuding with The Undertaker back in like '05. And he thought he quote unquote killed The Undertaker, and then it would turn out he like wasn't, actually dead, the whole zombie thing. He would be great at making those faces like, no, no, like, what am I dealing with? What have I stepped into? That type of character, it's appropriate. I feel like with Becky, false confidence was the way to go, and they didn't do that, which was weird to me. And then I think Seth carrying her out was a bit excessive. I think both of them just being like, you suck, we hate you, together as a couple that hates together, stays together kind of thing. I think it would be like a little bit of comedic levity, but not in a way that would be out of place or diminish from AJ's moment. I don't know. I just feel like the tone was a bit much to try and sell AJ a bit hard. AJ can sell herself just fine. So that was my only nitpick. Other than that, though, I mean, fine segment. Looking forward to WrestlePalooza, for that tag match. Should be fun. And yeah, that's really all I have to say about that. Is there anything else you want to say about AJ's return?
Um, I think while I do agree with you that like the Becky Lynch character shouldn't be intimidated by anyone, I do appreciate the effort that was put in to really sell AJ Lee as a threat.
Yeah, and again, I want to emphasize it's not that she shouldn't be intimidated by AJ. I just think the way she exuded that intimidation, that's why I said, like, if you wanted to demonstrate it, I would have done false bravado, like excessively like false confidence. Like, oh yeah, even if it was AJ, I don't care. I'll slap her too, kind of thing. But again, it's just the way she sold it. I'm like, I'm not really buying this. But yeah, that's just me. Really, I will say as far as AJ goes, as far as the long-term run, um, I'm really looking forward, hopefully, to a match with Roxanne. Like, because Roxanne loves AJ. I
Yeah.
think those two would have a great fucking match. That's the match I want is her versus Roxanne Perez. What's one AJ Lee match that you want, partner? Just her? Is it her
I
versus
mean, you
your girl
already said
Io?
it. It's Roxanne for sure. If I had to name someone else, Liv Morgan when she gets back.
Ooh, that's a good one. I like that one. I like that one. I wish Naomi was still on her run, man. I think that could be a great run too. Like this specific Naomi that we were getting.
Yeah.
Yeah, damn. But hey, AJ Lee's back, and given that it's more of a full time run, hopefully that even elevates the women's division a little bit. But Speaking of just interesting things or things that, kind of intrigued me this week, and obviously we started with AJ Lee because that was the big headlining story. I don't think there was a bigger story. I mean, yes, Brock Lesnar was on SmackDown this week, but I mean, fuck Brock Lesnar, fuck a lot of things WWE is steeped in right now.
I mean, I will say
Um,
the match that Lesnar interrupted was pretty dope. Cena and Sammy went crazy. Cena was pandering his ass off.
and apparently to great effect because I know the crowd was into that match. You know who else the crowd was fucking into though? Uh, AJ fucking Styles this week. I have to say, guys, like I have watched because WWE even knew how big it was. They uploaded their own separate video of it of just AJ's entrance and the crowd reaction from Paris on Raw.
Nice.
Oh my god, what a like I only remind myself of it because I haven't done it yet, just because everything I've been dealing with here, and I have not been getting my hours in or whatever. It's been a bit crazy here where I am, guys, but I have wanted to put AJ's reaction in Paris for contention of pop of the year because I mean that dude that night was a fucking god, and I am going to say it, and I already said it on the Discord, so I'm just reprising it here for those that aren't on the Discord, which I recommend you do join. It's just for $3 a month, and you get all your TWitWoW updates from there. AJ should have won the title here. And I like Dominic Mysterio. I'm not a hater on him. I do think like he's progressed. I like the heel work. I've actually enjoyed his IC title reign. But like sometimes you have to call an audible. And I feel like here there's nothing wrong with really sending the crowd home happy, especially when it's AJ and he's a fucking workhorse
Yeah.
and he could really put some shine on that IC title. Like because he lost this match to Dom and the crowd just died. And like that shouldn't be the reaction you want a heel to get. You should really you should hope that when the baby face is that over that the heel can match it and they could get like trash thrown in the ring. That didn't happen. Everything just went quiet and they're like, "Oh, AJ lost. Well, now I'm sad." Because they fucking loved AJ here. Like loved AJ here. I can't remember the last time AJ got a reaction like that. And he's a pretty respected dude. Like I'm not trying to take the piss on AJ Styles. I'm just saying like that was insane. I've watched that entrance multiple times and I'm just in awe that they're just kind of saying phenomena, phenomena. And I don't know if they say like AJ Styles after that. I really can't understand the rest of the chant, but they clearly say phenomenal over and over. And AJ even was like, yeah, he was even starting to vibe with it. So yeah, he was so over. I would have called an audible and said, put the title on AJ because I want to see the fucking roof come off the place. But Dom does retain. And here's the big thing it's thanks to El Grande Americano, played by Kaiser right now, because we know Gable's out with an injury. And I actually kind of feel bad for Gable because there are reports coming out, if they're to be believed, that Kaiser might actually be preferred. They like what he's doing with the Americano character more than Gable. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, even when Gable's doing something that not even a lot of us like, he still can't freaking win where it matters. It's like, God damn, give my boy something. Um, so I don't know. I mean, maybe this is a way for Gable to return his babyface when Kaiser is just running away with the damn thing. I don't know. But yeah, he does the loaded plate and the mask. He pulls AJ off of the phenomenal form attempt, which that bump, and I got to give AJ a little bit here, didn't look too great to me. And then just the headbutt with the loaded plate, and then Dom gets another frog splash for the win. I thought it was a crappy finish. Again, I just really thought AJ should have won the title here. But yeah, I really don't know who Dom's going to drop the Intercontinental title to. Maybe it will still be to AJ, but I don't know how many more title shots you want to give him. I would still like it to be Sheamus, but apparently he lost at Clash in Paris to Rusev. So I don't really know how you
Yeah.
convincingly sell that either. So I'm just kind of at a standstill with Dom's title reign personally.
I think Sheamus
Um,
is still up 2-1 on Rusev.
yeah, true. It's rough right now. But yeah, good for AJ, I guess, to that kind of reaction. And I just want to talk about that because I definitely think he got the pop of the week. Um, Before I keep running away with the ball, did you have anything you wanted to talk about from any of the shows this week? Because I personally would move on to NXT because I have some ranting to do, but I don't want to step on your toes. But there was something you wanted to talk about first.
You know, my memory isn't amazing about this kind of stuff just because there's been a lot that's gone on since this. I did watch SmackDown after Friday Night Football ended, but I watched it in such a way that like I was able to skip ads and I was able to skip through stuff I didn't care about. I know Aleister Black beat Damian Priest, which is kind of a cool little like potential elevation for him.
Yeah.
Um, I know Julia defeated Michin with help from Kiana James.
Yes.
I think that's about it as far as SmackDown goes. I don't remember much of anything from Raw, honestly. That might have been like, oh wait, no, yeah, because Raw was where they set up the AJ Lee return with Becky confronting Punk. That was a great segment, but like the only real purpose it served was the build up to the AJ Lee return, and that was awesome. And we already talked about it, so we don't really need to talk about the Raw segment. Um, Kabuki Warriors. Oh my god, that just unlocked my own memory. Asuka is my favorite character on Raw right now.
Yeah, dude, she was aggro with Rhea backstage. I did see that backstage segment where, like, I'm actually amazed it didn't like devolve into like a backstage brawl segment with them like farm each other and stuff. Because Asuka was jabbing that finger into Rhea. She's like, no one is ready for Asuka, not even you. And she's just jabbing the finger in Rhea the whole time. And I'm like, Asuka, chill. What the hell? But like, obviously I'm biased. This is probably the most I've liked Kairi Sane in a minute too, because this is just quintessential Kairi, where she is just so cute and like doesn't really want beef with anybody. Like she's happy to compete, but competing and like being antagonistic, I think, are two different things. And like she locks eyes with Rhea just ever so briefly, and she just immediately gets out of there. She's like, well, I don't have a problem with you. I wish nobody had a problem with anybody right now. So Kairi feels like the child in the middle of a divorce right now. Because Asuka is just really she's just wondering, like, dude, even on the Kanachan TV YouTube channel, because we do YouTube content every night together. She uploaded a video. Let me pull up my liked video list and see what the title of it was, because it was clearly a subtle shot at EO here. She said a wavering heart like the French sky, and sky is in all caps. So like I guess accusing EO of having a
A
wavering
wavering
heart, like
heart. Oh my god. Oh, dude, I love this storyline so much. This might legitimately be my favorite storyline going on Raw. We've got Asuka being petty to her toes, telling EO, unlike Rhea, we don't need help. And then they do get the
yeah.
job done against the Judgment Day. They actually won. It was awesome. And then the way that she always barges into the scene with "Excuse us," dude. Yeah,
So as
Asuka is the best right now. I'm loving her right now.
So, as the PhD in tone, can you take us through an analysis of Asuka's tone? And by analysis, I mean, is it perfect? Is it not perfect? What's going on with the tone of
Dude,
Asuka right now?
even if she was a native English speaker, her tone would be just as perfect as it is, despite the fact that she's not.
That's incredible. That's absolutely incredible. I love that for her. Yeah, man, that Asuka Rhea matchup's gonna feed families. Like these are the matchups I want Rhea to have. If she can't be in the title picture, these are the people you put her in the ring with, because she really is. She's one of the best women's wrestlers in the world right now. I will stand on that. No fucking problem. And yeah, that segment that definitely made my eyes wide. And I'm like, damn, honestly, proud of Rhea for showing restraint. And then I'll tell you what this does for me, partner, because I agree with you completely about Asuka's performance. So like you already did all that. I don't want to retread what you said. What this does for me is it makes me more fascinated by the Rhea Io relationship, because like Rhea hasn't beaten Io, and yet she still cares about her. Like, I think the loosest parallel you can make, and I do want to stress loose, because I never want people to think I make like a hard commitment to the comparisons that I make on here. It's just the first thing that I grab at is Eddie and Ray in like mid 2000s, because they were also really tight. But Eddie was really bothered that he just could not beat Ray. I'm wondering if we're going down a similar road here, where like Rhea does care for Io, but does she care about beating her even more? We're gonna have to see. We know how it ended with Eddie and Ray. Eddie had, in my mind, one of the best heel turns, of that era, just because it was brutal. I remember when I first watched it, I was shocked because I was so used to Eddie being a babyface. I'm like, I didn't know that darkness was in you, Eddie. God damn. Um, we'll see if Rhea makes a different choice, or if it's even her choice to make. For all we know, Io could be the one to turn heel, or Asuka could just be a heel and just say fuck everybody. I don't know. This has definitely gotten more intriguing, and I'm curious what's going to happen with the Io Rio relationship in light of all this. Um, as for everything else on Raw, it's just stuff with the Vision, a lot of mid card stuff. Penta and the New Day, really stuff that I don't really care to talk about. I will just say briefly, Jimmy apparently came to Jay's rescue, so cool. Apparently, Jimmy's gonna be a good brother to Jay again. We'll see how long that fucking lasts. And they're gonna do tag stuff. Whoopee. So there you go. There. We need to talk about NXT though, because we have a fucking problem. Okay.
Oh,
Um, I need you, and I'm really sorry that this has to happen to you because you know that I love you sincerely. I need you to explain to me why NXT is giving ample airtime and a push to that fucking hick, Josh Briggs. Because what in the fuck is happening right now? Uh,
well,
he has a segment.
counterpoint. Can you explain to me why they've been giving a push to those two hicks, Hank and Tank?
Um, my most cynical guess is that because the country politically has moved further right, given the current government, which is an overt fascist regime. I have seen some horrifying shit today that I'm not going to be able to bleach out of my eyes. Um, and they're just wanting to pander to that between more country artists like Jelly Roll competing and stuff like that. Like, yeah, it just makes sense that these fucking people that would seem to represent that kind of rustic rural kind of pastoral vision of America would be pushed. Oh, forget your electric vehicles, we like motorbikes, and forget this and that, we like this and this. And yeah, it just that would be my best answer, is just pandering. It could just be Sean popping himself because maybe he likes these guys and he's biased. Either way, though, it's wrong. It's wrong, and it shouldn't be happening. Because Javon cuts a promo pretty much, losing to Oba and having to claw his way back up, and then the sheer caucasity, not just audacity, straight up caucasity of Josh fucking Briggs to come out. Now, I get, before people come in and say, but John, he's a heel. It's to get heat. I know. I'm 33 fucking years old. I have been watching wrestling for over 20 years. Believe me. I know. Just because you're doing something from the book doesn't mean I like your iteration of it. Okay? So he's coming out and he's lecturing Javon Evans about, oh, you're not like me. You just sit here and you take what happens to you. Me, I make things happen. You should have gotten right back in Oba's face and told him you weren't going anywhere. And then Javon, because it was his fucking promo time, tries to cut back in and say,
Hmm.
that's really interesting, but I was talking here. And then Briggs is like, shut up. And it's this whole thing. And then Briggs goes on offense first. See, again, I'm surprised by the restraint of people because I expected Rhea to hit Asuka and I expected Javon to attack Briggs. Briggs actually hits the boot on Javon first because Javon, I forget what he said verbally, but it must have triggered Briggs because underneath all that, brisk manliness is just apparently a fucking snowflake. And he boots Javon in the face. Then he goes out and he gets a steel chair, he unfolds it, and then he choke slams him in a bump that to me scared the fucking shit out of me because I anticipated a back bump, but Javon really favored his head and neck. Now, I don't know if that's just a really good sell job. I'm assuming that's what it was, but I'll admit if it was, they got me. And I guess that's the one positive I can give here. You worked me because I was deathly concerned for Javon after that. I'm like, oh my God, did he fuck up the spot? And did Javon, mess up his head or his neck? Concussion or God forbid, any neck damage. Then later, Briggs destroys Chase U, beats Andre Chase, and then lays out Chase U, even gets a choke slam through an announce table. And here's the thing. One, it's Josh Briggs. So categorically, you've already fucked up, right? But then secondly, it's Josh Briggs. But more importantly than that, 2B, because there's a second component to that, is that even though it's Josh Briggs, which again is already wrong, Oba's already beaten him multiple times, actually. So why should I believe that because it's Josh Briggs and because Oba's beaten him, that things are going to be any different? If you suck, I don't think you just automatically start to not suck. The inverse is also true. Allow me to use my court and commentary here. See, Ashton is excellence. I don't expect him to wake up one day and to just not be excellence. In fact, we can even ask him, does your face plan on sucking tomorrow when it wakes up?
Nah.
No, no, see, he's not in the mood. Yeah, see, it doesn't fucking work that way. So what the fuck are you doing, NXT? Pushing a fucking loser. Meanwhile, you know what? I don't want to jump the gun because I really wanted to go to this segment next. I should calm down and I should ask you because again, there are two people here.
Oh, I have nothing
Um,
to add. You can jump.
oh, I can jump. Cool. And we're going to talk about Jada Lash, but that isn't what I'm going to jump to. And I only preface that because I know you and I were talking in the Discord. I didn't want you to anticipate like I was going to mention that because I know I mentioned that to you on the Discord. But there's actually something else I want to mention. I don't hate Joe Hendry, but like I hated how he was worked into the main event and Dark State losing this match with Hank and Tang getting the winning pin. Um, I see now this is maybe a me problem, okay? And like I should admit that I guess I just have preferences that will sometimes come into violent conflict with the reality and with what's being booked. And maybe I'm just being a petulant child when I don't want to accept the latter. And I can accept that. But I don't feel like Dark State's being taken as seriously as I would like them to be taken. I don't even necessarily dislike Steve Cutler, but like the Shield never had a joke guy. They had their own brand of humor when they were more babyface, but nobody was ever a goober in that faction, right? And like, I kind of want this group just in kayfabe to trim the fat and just be like, listen, Steve, either shape up or like ship out. Like we can't, this isn't working. And like them even feeling like Cutler doing all this stuff and then Hank and Tank also being goofy, just comedic fucking wrestlers that shouldn't even be in this same realm as Dark State because Dark State has gone after NXT champions. They've gone after. I mean, I know Oba is the current NXT champion, but they've gone after behemoths like Oba, stars like Trick, this and that. And you're gonna have Hank and Tank call out Joe Hendry and then that works. It's just I personally hated everything about this is I think what I'm trying to articulate, maybe in a way that's more rational and makes it seem like I'm right. And again, maybe this is just a feelings thing. I hated this. How did you feel about this, man? Do you actually know? Let me orient your response around this because I know sometimes I say a lot and sometimes you may not even know like what to pick. So let me orient it like this. Do you agree with me that like Dark State isn't taken as seriously as they should be booking wise, or do you feel like I'm being too critical?
I mean, I could just read my own comments that I posted in the live wrestling discussion channel when I watched this.
That sounds great if you can do that. I'm guessing you have them pulled up.
It's really only one direct quote about the ending. I said at 5:37 a.m. because that's when I watched NXT on Wednesday, actually morning. Joe Hendry helping Hank and Tank beat Dark State despite the other half of their team abandoning them mid-match is some of the most egregious booking I've ever seen.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, I don't like Hank and Tank. So again, that is a bias thing, but if I had to put that bias aside, which I'll admit takes a concerted effort, it's not even that like them inevitably getting a rematch bothers me. I would expect it. But I would like to see a bit more of a clawing to it, especially when I feel like the gap between them and Dark State should be pretty vast. And just again, the whole way that they did this, I just again like I don't know. I just did not like it. And
No,
that's
here's
really
my
what it
thing,
comes down to.
man.
I did
I
not like it.
am with you in the sense that I agree that the gap between Dark State and Hank and Tank should be vast. The problem is
Yeah.
it isn't. The problem is
Yeah.
it took all four members of Dark State contributing in order for that team to beat Hank and Tank, who didn't get any help at all in their tag title match. And
I,
now they still lost a 2-on-4.
yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, like it's like I said, it's egregious. It's absolutely egregious. The NXT's brass, whoever writes the show every week and decides who to push and who to win and who to lose and stuff, and the agents who are determining the way that the matches go, have just decided that Hank and Tank need to be Fraxium all over again. They need to be OP as hell. They need to be able to win in a 2v4 situation. And yeah, it's egregious. I mean, look, in my mind, uh, if you're gonna book a tag team to be that powerful, it should be Dark State. Dark State should be the guys that are overcoming the numbers odds that were working against them. But of course, they have to be heels, so they have to be, they have to always have the numbers advantage, and they can't always win when they get it because this is WWE and heels can't win.
See, like again, this is just how my mind works. I look at this and I think about early on in the Nexus's run when like they started losing on the main roster after, tearing up the arena and just destroying people every week. Wade Barrett, to his credit in kayfabe as a leader, trimmed the fat and he's like, oh, we're gonna weed out weak links. And I think they even had an episode of Raw where like he had individual members of Nexus compete in matches. And if you lost your match, you were out of the group. That's actually how Darren Young, I think, got out of the group because he lost his match. If I'm Dark State, I'm not necessarily doing the same thing, but I'm thinking like somebody gets on the mic and is like, oh, we can't have this. And then they all gang up on Cutler. And then Cutler gets excommunicated from the group. Just because, like, you should take yourselves a bit more seriously. You should see that, like, oh man, Stevie's having these, promo gaps, which obviously are deliberate because they want him to be comedic relief. But see that's another thing. Again, and this is just a me thing. I fundamentally don't like that a faction like this even feels the need for comedic relief. Like I feel like that's like a violent juxtaposition for how I see Dark State. So what it is my I guess interpretation, my perception, that's the word I'm looking for. My perception of Dark State is violently clashing with the reality of Dark State, and I can't reconcile that because
Yeah.
I don't see why a faction like this should have comic relief. I think that's stupid. So for me, they would just get rid of Cutler, but that's not going to happen. So yeah, this I didn't care for this. And then another thing, we and that now I will kind of talk about Lash Legend versus Jada Parker. Solid match. Lash wins, which I think is really cool for her. I like the push the Lash is getting. Let me just get that out of the way. That is the big positive. My problem, and I already said this on Discord, I, I feel like does NXT know what like Jada Parker is like alignment wise? Like, are they kind of treating her as a tweener? Because if she's a tweener, I'd like to see her go after heels too, because she feels more heel coded to me. And if she is more heel coded, that's a problem because the crowd very clearly loves her. And like, I don't know. I wish we could figure out Jada Parker. Or if you can't figure out NXT, by all means call her up. Because I feel like she would so seamlessly transition between NXT main roster, it's not even funny. Like if we're gonna be doing this with her, I don't really see why she's here. Just because, yeah, like Lash gets the win, crowd enjoys it because the crowd also likes Lash, which again, love that for Lash, no problem there. But then after the match, Jada from behind attacks Lash and then sets her up for Hypnotic through the barricade. Now, cool, badass spot. It shows that, like, I'm not one to be messed with. In fact, the crowd even starts chanting, Jada, don't play that shit. But like, what are we doing? So I also really don't care for the booking of Jada Parker. So really, I just found NXT this week by and large to be kind of a mess for me personally. I just feel very disconnected to the writing at present. Um, if you're enjoying it, sincerely great. I just think for me, like I'm expecting different things from certain acts, and it's not lining up, and I'm just not reconciling myself to that. I know we're doing a speed tournament. Candice advanced against Zaya Brookside. Um, DIY laid out Trick Williams for reasons I'm not even going to read into that because again I only really watched YouTube clips and that didn't really strike me because I have not cared about DIY in years. Kelly Armstrong faced Jordan Grace. Do you have any recollection of this match? Because I forgot that this match happened. I'm happy
Same.
for Callie though. So, but Jordan Grace won.
Yeah.
Um, I think that's essentially it. Yeah, that's essentially it. We already talked about. Well, I mean, we talked about the biggest thing from SmackDown, and you already mentioned Cena Zayn. I'm not really sure what else is there really to talk about. Oh, and you already mentioned Julia Meechin and Aleister Black beating Priest. So we could just say that SmackDown's done too. I really don't feel the need to go there. So you and I, we watch Evolve every week. So now we could just talk about Evolve. We skipped Shawn Legacy Ice Williams. Shawn Legacy won, and we skipped it, by the way, because Ice Williams is no longer with the company. Kylie Ray had a promo on Chantel Monroe. Do not care. Neither one of us like Kylie Ray. And she beats Mason Holiday. Uh, Harley Riggins and Jax Presley beat Adrenaline Drip. And,
Surprising.
yeah, Riggins connected with unnecessary roughness, apparently, is his finish, to pick up the victory. And yeah, then we get the Stevie Turner announcement for number one contender. Again, we see the Vanity Project kind of disintegrating low key. But Jackson Drake continues to be amazing. I know he popped you because at one point, he's talking about like all these people coming after his title and Stevie kind of being, you know, kind of withholding with who the contender is, and he even says the phrase, "What the hell is even that?" Which popped you really hard because then you posted the clip that came from in the web channel in the Discord. So Jackson, yeah, do you want to say something, brother? Because I heard you kind
No,
of giggling
no,
over
no.
there.
That clip just pops me, and the fact that Jackson Drake quoted it, amazing.
I think Jackson Drake quoting that and popping both of us and just having the fucking charisma he does, he might be my favorite world champion right now because fuck Cody Rhodes.
Yeah.
I love Seth, but
Seth.
I'm already kind of I love Seth, but I'm already kind of over this feud with Punk. Um, Oba is God though. To be fair to Oba,
Oba's definitely the best world champ. But even Oba though, like I made an observation in the Discord this week. I feel like Oba's entrance has gotten flanderized.
yeah. Well, I mean, okay. So actually, go deeper into what you mean by that before I respond, so I can respond appropriately.
Okay, so originally Oba's entrance, he would very subtly take his steps to the beat of the song. And now he is doing like full blown, like arms out, like marching like a cartoon, dancing to his own theme song. And you've got fucking Hank and Tank even doing it in the ring too. And like, it feels like they've turned this trait of Oba's that was always more of like a subtle, cool little thing that showed how like in the zone and how much he was feeling himself to now it's like he's just like another fucking guy dancing for the camera, and it's ridiculous, especially when you take into account the history of pro wrestling giving black men dancing gimmicks.
Okay, so I just want to respond to that because I was not aware of this. Now this is me being what you might call an ass face. But I wouldn't even care if it would be a heel thing. If I was Oba and I saw fucking Hank and Tank doing my shit,
Bro,
I would
he
stop
did
doing.
honk honk in the corner with them.
No, Oba, no, Oba, what are you
I'm
doing,
telling
baby?
you, he's getting flanderized.
It, but he's supposed to be regal and dignified. Oh my god. No, because if I saw that, I don't even care if it would have gotten him heat. It would have popped me, and I think I put that pretty high on the scale. I would have stopped doing like my entrance. I would have marched to the ring, breaking like the rhythm and flow. I would have backed one of Hank and Tank in the corner, and I would have said, "Not for you. Don't you ever do that shit again. I don't know who gave you the right, but consider it revoked." And I would have barked it at him, and then they would have been like, "Oh, okay, I didn't know." And I sure as hell wouldn't have done the honk honk bullshit. What the fuck, dude? What is happening to the earth? Fuck. Uh,
Shh.
fuck.
I think the word that the people on the internet have come up for is enshittification.
Yeah, yeah. We can't stop it. It's spreading and metastasizing to everything we fucking love and hold dear.
Ooh,
That's great. So Jackson Drake.
metastasizing.
Yeah, it's Jackson Drake, it's on you now to show what a world champion should be. And see, it's okay to pop with Vanity Project because have you seen the charisma in that faction? Holy shit.
I
But
mean, charisma might be taking it a little far, but Jackson Drake has it at least.
no, that's fascinating because my counterpoint is no. I think I took
Bro,
it the appropriate amount.
Brad Baylor sounds like a child. That dude does not sound like his nuts have
Okay,
dropped yet.
okay, okay, let's say things. Let's not say things we can't take back. Okay, this is a live mic you're working with
I'm
right
just
now.
saying Ricochet has a manlier voice than Brad Baylor.
That is insane. You're insane right now. Go to your room.
You know it's true.
No, no. Don't push your words on me. Ew. Um, but no, so I enjoyed their segment. And then again, Bryce Donovan. Bryce isn't being very nice because he's like, oh, it doesn't matter. Heartbreak Drake will beat anybody. You could even see Drake being like, hey, Bryce, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Bryce, what are you doing? And then Stevie's like, oh, well, you can face both Keanu Carver, who, again, like I said a few weeks ago, and I say again here, because Brooks Jensen, nobody gives a shit about Brooks Jensen. I don't even know if I'm not convinced Brooks Jensen even really gives a shit about Brooks Jensen. He hasn't shown it to me. Okay. Um, Keanu Carver and Jackson Drake, Super Blue. That is funny that you would say anyone has zero charisma when we know who you stand. Okay, maybe take several seats. I don't know. Um, Keanu Carver to me, I just felt the claws come out because I love Jackson Drake.
In
Um,
before Nana.
yeah, when the stick is like thrusting that fucking colon. Um, Keanu Carver to me, you doing a mini raspberry pop the fucking shit out of me. Keanu Carver to me is such the antithesis of Jackson Drake. Just the way Jackson Drake like carries himself like in kayfabe, like he seems like he comes from money. They're a clubbing background, you know. Even like fucking Swipe Right has been like, oh, you know, trust funds and stuff like that. So you know, Jackson Drake, he's at least like got some wealth. Maybe he's not like Ted DiBiase rich in kayfabe, but like you know, he's doing okay. And Keanu Carver has talked about like the sacrifices he's had to make, the fights he's had to get into to get here. I am telling you, I love that fucking story. I don't even know if Evolve knows the kind of story they have on their hands. And again, this is why I miss Lucha Underground and I miss companies like Lucha Underground that really look at storytelling as the most important part of pro wrestling. I feel like WWE is kind of getting in touch with that in their own way on the main roster products. Like, it would be, I think, a bit facetious to say that they're not doing it because they're clearly trying, if nothing else. But yeah, Evolve has a wonderful, like, almost Tale of Two Cities thing going on here between the way Jackson Drake grew up and how he lives and Keanu Carver, and it would be the perfect thing to make Keanu like this monster baby face. But I don't think they're gonna do it, and I don't know. Like, I'm not saying it's the biggest missed opportunity ever, but you know, it does make me a little sad because I'm like, I'd be fascinated to see what Keanu, like, especially Keanu, could do with that. Because I'm telling you, that dude speaks from a raw fucking place. I don't know if it's like he really knew pain in his life or whatever, but when he speaks, I'm like, I'm not taking your dream from you. Please don't look at me. I'm rooting for you actually, so I'm gonna root for you from a safe distance. But no, like that's the match I'm looking forward to. Like to me, Brooks Jensen spoils it. I do not give a shit about. Imagine being a hick, but then being so underwhelming you're a Timu hick. What the fuck is going on over there? Like that's Brooks Jensen, and this is a guy again to hold me on record because I know Foster, not only do I love him, he is attentive to the fucking program because he remembers shit that I say. Okay. And like, I'm actually flattered. He knows that there was a time I gave Brooks Jensen a chance because I thought he had an old school look, almost like a Harley race type look, you know, very, very old school, very 80s, you know, knee pads and tights and stuff like that, and had this like kind of grizzled look about him. Certainly not a grizzled young vet. God, I love that tag team. I need to catch up with them. But you
Yeah.
know, I gave him a trial run. It didn't work out. I think he's bland as shit. And when I saw him come out and do this whole thing, especially now that Jordan Oasis is gone, and we know that Jensen can just get in the title picture, I'm like, this sucks. I do not like this. This does nothing for me. I'm gonna check perfectly flaccid in this moment. Cut
You
him
really
out
checked.
and keep it to
Wow.
Carver. Yeah. Um, if you really just kept it to Carver and Drake, I'd be like, great, we're in business. But no, we have to get Jensen in here for reasons that I don't understand. And to be honest, I don't want to. And you can't make me understand. Fuck you. So that's my petulant response to Evolve this week. Um, and that was essentially it because I don't think I watched any of AEW this week. Did you check in on any of AEW this week?
No.
I need you to know that you're perfect and I love you. Did you
Nice.
did you did you do any extracurriculars this week?
No.
I actually did. I revisited some insane Mr. McMahon stuff from the mid 2000s when he was like going after Stephanie and like doing shit with Sable. And like,
Oh, wow. Okay.
God,
Was this his
no,
weird,
John.
like, stroke face era?
No, well, maybe a little bit. It was the era
Grown
where he
man
had one of my favorite.
pretending. Yeah, like, that was just so weird.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's when he kind of goes insane because he ends up having a buried alive match with the Undertaker at that year's Survivor Series 2003,
Yeah.
which God, what an era that was as a kid growing up with that. I mean, I will admit, I do still miss it. But yeah, and then he cuts this promo about like, oh, I've been chosen to slaughter the infidel, and it really always should have been known that Vince had stuff. That dude
Was this the era
is
of
not
life
okay.
sucks and then you die?
No, I think that was Attitude Era, actually.
Oh,
This was Ruthless Aggression era,
oh.
and
I heard
yeah,
you say what year. I know you're talking
yeah,
about mid 2000s, so in my mind I'm thinking like
yeah,
'04 to '07.
yeah. Well, might have still been early 2000s because again, this is 2003. But even so,
Oh,
Life
okay.
Sucks and Then You Die. I feel like that was a 2000 promo, no later than 2001. I thought.
I
In
do
fact,
not
let's
remember the time that happened. So
yeah, Vince. Let's see. Can we get an exact date? Can we do a date check? Life sucks and then you die. But yeah, that man needs copious amounts of therapy.
I mean, as an
Copious amounts of
alternative
fucking
to the therapy, he could also just die.
therapy. Like Ronald Reagan did. That was the best thing he did too. Yeah, no, I agree. I
Yeah,
agree.
no,
That
it's
would be
interesting though because you asked me if I did any extracurriculars, and you're talking about how you did. Another direct quote that I will absolutely stand by that I posted in the Discord this week is that I'm really in a place right now where pro wrestling puts me in a worse mood when I watch it.
dude, I mean, like I'm not gonna try and feign anything to the audience. I'm totally fucking checked out. Like, this shit can eat my ass. Hey, John, do you want to do wrestling tonight? No, but alternatively, also no, but I'm gonna read instead. Just to kind of put a little bit more flavor on it. And yeah, I was right. It was May 2000 was the Life Sucks and Then You Die promo. So I was right about the
Well,
year. It was a
shit.
2000. Not necessarily. It did come from my face, so
No,
there was
no,
something
I'm
redeeming
saying
there.
well shit because my memory failed me.
Well, I still love it anyway, okay? And we're gonna love you through this. Um, but that's really all I did. And yeah, I feel like we probably need to wrap this show up soon because it's probably the sleep deprivation combined with world events, but I'm really feeling like I'm gonna be unhinged soon. And so yeah, let's just move on. Let's open up
I
the
mean,
forum
I
to
already
questions,
said that
everybody.
we'd be better off if someone died. I can't imagine you'd say anything much more unhinged than that.
Let's not test that, shall we? Let's open up the forum to questions. Who has questions about this week in the world of wrestling?
Hmm.
Super Blue. How do you feel about Jamie Hayter getting put in a four-way match with the AEW Women's title? I mean, the title picture is where she belongs. So, yes, I guess that's fine. Should I be offended? Was this originally a one-on-one match that she got screwed out of? Because then, I
I'm
mean,
assuming that this was just Super Blue's cute little way of informing us of this fact.
Super Blaze. That actually, Super Blue, if you ever want to upgrade your name, that I vote for that actually.
Can't,
Pretty great.
man. Too blue.
Oh man.
That was my Okaroon powered up impression.
God, what a chat he is. I fucking love him. Fucking love that anime, actually.
Dude, this week's entire episode was just basically revolving around him being a Chad.
Yeah, I gotta be honest too, not to insult the Don to Don fandom. I don't really care for Kenta right now. I don't understand all this memeing about him being the main character. He sucks. He
I
annoyed me
think
from the first
he's
episode.
hilarious.
Oh well, hopefully, like Ira, he grows on me because I didn't like her at first either. So we'll
Yeah,
see.
I don't think he's like a good person. He's definitely got dickbag tendencies, but like it pops me.
Yeah, people should be more like me, and that's being a dickbag with actual charisma that makes you amicable at the same time and adorable.
No, you know
The
what
caster
though?
sales.
I think maybe I wonder if it's like a situation where we're interpreting his character differently. We'll have to talk about it.
Yeah, yeah. Caster sales. Now that excuse me. Now that
Gesundheit.
Rusev beat Sheamus. Thank you. Yeah, it was more of clearing my throat. Had a little tickle there. Now that Rusev beat Sheamus, what do you think the Bulgarian Brute will do next? That's actually a genuinely good question because the mid card champion's a heel. So, and the world champion's a heel, and everything worthwhile is held by a heel. Um, maybe pick on someone else. It's probably the most likely, right? So, yeah. Yeah. I don't know though. I don't know who the next feud is, but that's probably the most likely thing. So, do you have any thoughts?
About what exactly?
Oh my god. Caster sales question. Now that Rusev beat Sheamus, what do you think the Bulgarian Brute will do next?
Oh, um, man, that's a tough one. I don't think this feud is over.
Okay, that's fair.
I know that Rusev beat Sheamus, but I don't think that the story was these guys are going to keep fighting till Rusev wins. I think that they are probably still embroiled in this feud. I don't think it's over. I think we're probably going to get another match, if not two more matches, if not four more matches. And it's probably going to lead to one or both of these guys being involved in the Intercontinental title picture and one of them winning the title.
Um, that seems a bit excessive, but I ultimately agree with what your face is putting out. So
What part was excessive
that's cool.
specifically?
Just the more matches that WWE would have them do that because Clash did have a step on it, which usually when you go the kind of step because wasn't it like a Belfast brawl or some shit, and it's like
Yeah,
that should
it
normally
was a
be a feud ender.
Belfast brawl, and again though, like Sheamus was up 2-0 against Rusev going into that, and then Rusev won the stip match. So I don't think that just means the feud is over and that Rusev wins the feud because he won last. Sheamus still has 2 wins over him, so I'm guessing it's going to keep going.
Want to be contentious right now, but I don't feel like I could be adorable while doing it, so I think I'm just gonna table this for now.
Nice.
But yeah, I'll keep that in mind. Super
Super
Blue.
Blue, it's not a CH, it's a K in Tekla. The H is after the
Yeah.
T. It's THEKLA.
But his question above that was, how do you feel about AEW moving the start time for All Out to avoid WWE WrestlePalooza? I really don't have any thoughts on that. I think it's just them
I think
trying to
it's
do
a
smart
real
business.
bitch move by Tony Khan, honestly.
What? Here I was being like, they probably just want to maximize viewership, and they know pragmatically that they can't do it with WWE's first show on the ESPN app. But then again, I even wonder how many people are going to watch it with that price point. At least watch it
Well,
through the app and not just a
yeah,
VPN or whatever the fuck.
that's the thing is like you've got to keep in mind that like you don't have to pay $30 a month to watch it if you already have cable. You could just watch it on cable.
Yeah,
So whatever percent, like like Raw is watched by like 2 point something million people worldwide. SmackDown is watched by like 1.5 million people live as it happens. So being able to watch a full blown PLE live on cable, I mean, that's the thing. Those numbers that 1.5 million of SmackDown and uh, less so the Raw number. Really, the SmackDown number, the 1.5 million people who watch SmackDown every week on cable, because those are Nielsen numbers. So those are numbers that come from cable. So those are all people who already have cable, and that's going to be like all the people that have access to be able to watch the PLE on ESPN now. And that's like a bare minimum too, because there are a lot of people who don't watch WWE products who are previous fans who will now be able to watch the PLEs for free on ESPN on cable because they maybe stopped watching because of how expensive pay-per-views were at one point.
yeah, yeah.
So this could legitimately bring the WWE more fans. It could legitimately increase their fan base. Unfortunately, it's at the cost of making it a lot harder for cord cutters in the US to watch the product. But again, if you're like me and a few other people in our Discord and you just use a VPN to watch their shows on Netflix anyway, then you're not missing out on anything.
That's fair. So to come back to the question, you feel like Tony Khan should have stuck to his guns and just had WrestlePalooza, or excuse me, would have
I
had
mean,
All Out compete with WrestlePalooza?
bro, if Tony Khan decides that he wants to move his shit around every time the WWE tries to run something up against him, then all they have to do is keep running shit up against him, and the company's gonna fucking die. You can't just keep running away from the WWE every single time. Like the audience that watches AEW and the audience that watches WWE are not a stack of pancakes. It's not like the exact same group of people. AEW, there are a lot of AEW fans who actively despise WWE, and vice versa. A lot of WWE fans who despise AEW. And so, like, yeah, WrestlePalooza is one thing, but if you really wanted to like make a statement, you say, "Oh yeah, you can go watch an accused sex predator wrestle, or you can come over here and watch our millennial cowboy who thinks trans rights matter and speaks Spanish in Mexico defend his title."
Yeah.
Draw the fucking line, man. If you keep running away from them, they're just gonna stomp all over you.
In fact, I'm curious if AEW will lean more into that because I don't know if you saw that I posted in the Discord. I was a bit bemused by it and bewildered by it. Not to say that Hangman didn't deserve this, but yeah, somebody posted a piece about like finding leftism in pro wrestling, and like it was an AEW Glaze piece revolving around Hangman. Now, on one
Yeah.
hand, I love Hangman Adam Page, and I think he deserves positive press, and I love that he's that guy that gets it for the company. But like laughs in Sami Zayn though, and that's what I said in the Discord. It's like you're talking about leftism in wrestling. I don't think there's more of a leftist character in wrestling, not since Daniel Bryan in WWE, than Sami Zayn. And Sami Zayn might even be more left in like the right ways because
Yeah.
he's actually speaking out, even if only subtly, because of his fucking job against the genocide in Gaza. Which again, I say, not a fucking war. Language matters. It's fucking genocide. And Sammy's speaking out against it. So, but all the same, not to rain on Hangman's parade, it's great that he has been such a character that people see leftist values in that character. And if I'm AEW, I lean into that. But again, it's headed by a billionaire who probably fundamentally doesn't even agree with those values. So
Uh-huh. Exactly.
what the
So yeah, and and
fuck are you
and
gonna do?
also the fact that they're running away from WrestlePalooza is also just fucking over the fans who paid already for tickets and made plans for that weekend to go see that show at its original time slot. And now Tony's like, oh well, WWE's running a show at the same time, so we're gonna move it back a few hours. Okay, I mean, what do you do if you're a fan who made plans earlier that day just so that they can make sure that they get to Wrestle or to All Out or yeah, All Out at the right time? I guess they're just fucked. I guess that they have to change their plans or sell their tickets. Like, are you offering refunds, Antonius?
Yeah, yeah, that's actually a great point. Yeah, because the fans really do get screwed over, and I mean they're the ones that are really supporting your product and trying to keep the show running, and you're just like, oh, we're
Yeah.
moving it back. Sorry for the inconvenience, everybody.
I think
Um,
AEW far more than WWE relies on keeping their fans happy to continue existing.
yes.
WWE hasn't given a
Yeah.
fuck what their fans think in 30 plus years.
Yeah. So true, King. So true. All right. Did we get any other questions? Let me tab back into the live
Yeah,
chat.
Super Blue asked if Brock was going to go after the Sami Zayn US title after what happened on SmackDown. I doubt it, honestly, but if Sammy tries to go after Brock, we could be seeing United States champion Brock Lesnar in the year of our Lord 2025 or 26.
Oh, I mean, you're right. But I will say, as a counterpoint, albeit a very weak one, if WWE is still kind of like taking the scenic route to making Sammy like a main event world title contender, a win over Brock Lesnar would do a lot for him even now.
That's a
Accusations
great
or not,
point.
it's still Brock Lesnar in the ring. Like,
Imagine if they brought back Brock Lesnar to lose to Cena and put over Sami Zayn. I feel like that would win a lot of people over.
it would. And here's the thing, too. Again, if I'm just keeping it to the wrestling and I'm just keeping it real, Brock traditionally has his best matches against guys the stature of a Sami Zayn and that work like a Sami Zayn does. So I even feel like it could be one of Brock's better matches. And so yeah, I mean, I think he'll put Sammy over? No, so I don't want to like huff my own gas too much. But yeah, I mean, it's on my mind. Um,
Super
okay,
Blue
so
asked, "Do you think Dominic Mysterio is going to win the AAA Mega Campeonato on Worlds Collide on Friday?" I didn't even know Worlds Collide was Friday already. I thought it was like next week or something.
man, time flies when you don't give a fuck.
And
Um,
neither one of us.
Pop. Yeah, he probably will. Look, I like Dom, but
Yeah.
I think the wrestling companies that work with Dom like him more than I do because they definitely see something in him.
El
Um,
Hijo del Vikingo is a really good champion, though, and so if he does drop the title, I would expect him. I shouldn't say expect. It would be correct in my mind to start using him more on Raw and SmackDown, one or the other.
yeah. You know what? I'm just gonna defer to your face. It's has a 99.99% rate of being handsome and correct. So I just,
Honestly,
I can't compete with that.
have
So
Vikingo
yeah,
take the IC title off of Dom.
it's an interesting idea. I don't hate
Yeah,
that.
Yeah, have Dom
That
win
actually,
the mega
yeah.
championship by cheating, and then have Vikingo beat Dom for the IC title in such a way that like maybe he has backup from other luchadors. Like maybe Mr. Iguana prevents cheating from happening or something.
Not only do I like that idea, I'll tell you why I would do it. It wasn't that long ago that Vikingo and Gable went fucking stupid on a AAA show
Yeah.
and like had a match that people were raving over. I'm pretty sure it's on some people's match of the year list, like
Mm-hmm.
deservedly. And I'm like, if he's doing that kind of business for you, like you should give him a little something just to show that this isn't a one-sided partnership. So yeah, I'm for that actually. That's genuinely good idea there, bud. I like it. All
Thank
right.
you.
Let's see. Super Blue again. Do you think
Who the
I feel like you
fuck
want to
is
say Rusev here.
Rufus?
I wasn't gonna call him out for it, man. We know who we meant, but you had to pop me again. God damn it. Do you think Rusev goes after the IC and have Finn finally turn on Dom to win it? No. No think why would Finn turn when he's winning? That's my thing. Like him and JD are tag team champions again. Roxanne has really ingratiated herself to the Judgment Day like Finn
Roxanne.
wanted. Finn is winning right now to me. There's no reason to turn heel when you're winning, in my opinion. So
Winning does cure everything.
it doesn't cure my face, mainly because it's not afflicted because it's already perfect.
Also, I just have
Sorry.
to address Finn wouldn't be turning heel. He would be turning Dom face. And like that's less unlikely because the crowds are loving Dom for some reason now. I don't get it either.
Maybe it's because he's doing more Eddie Guerrero stuff and they still haven't like
Oh
processed
yeah,
Eddie.
that's why he's a tribute act. He's a nostalgia act now. Everything he does is either Rey Mysterio or Eddie Guerrero tributes.
Yeah. See, I cracked it.
You cracked the code.
Oh god, that just makes me think Jericho might be coming back soon. Oh. Um, let's see. Let's see. What do you mean
I
except when
think we're
talking about
done with the
LA Knight?
Q&A.
I think we're done too. I think, you know what? I'm not going to say what I was about to say. We're just going to pack it in. High spots and low shots. Um, low shot. Okay, so I'm gonna call it my petty low shot instead of my honorary low shot because even I can admit it's unserious. I want to make my petty low shot Jey Uso because he did get assaulted. But when your life is so bad that you need help from Jimmy Uso, son, you cooked. Like, holy fucking shit.
Mm.
My actual low
Imagine
shot
needing
though,
help from your own twin.
dude, I could never. I would never. Fuck you. Uh, so, so my actual low shot, I think is gonna I think it's gonna be Roxanne and Raquel. Because I mean, you're
Lost to
dealing
the
with the
Kabuki
Kabuki
Warriors.
Warriors,
Yep.
where yeah, you're dealing with the Kabuki Warriors, where Asuka's talking shit and backing it up. Like that's horrifying. Like okay, so yeah, I'm gonna say Roxanne and Raquel are my low shot.
I do just want to reassure you, John, that what Super Blue just said in chat is blatantly false. He said, your face isn't perfect when you talk about LA Knight. That's one of the most egregious statements I've ever seen, which brings me back to one of the most egregious booking decisions I've ever seen, and which is why my low shot this week is Dark State.
Okay, so I want to acknowledge what you said because you're beautiful and we're in this show together. But I need to respond to this. You know that I've held myself back twice now. I really want to sue the fucking shit out of him right now. Uh, I'm not going to, but legal action immediately crossed my mind. Super Blue, I would really be careful with defamation. It's not an easy weapon to wield, and I'm just gonna be blunt. I don't think you can handle it. So maybe simmer your ass.
You're not
Uh,
ready.
exactly. So now for my high spot, which most assuredly isn't LA Knight because he's championshipless. He fucking is also a tribute act, and he's fucking old, and he has a stick problem significantly. Um, high spot for me. God, it really should just be my face. Nothing's competing with it right now, but it can't. You know what? I'm gonna say high spot is Jackson Drake because I love Oba to death, but if I'm being honest, Jackson Drake is the most entertaining champion to me, like going right now. It was Naomi, But then, a beautiful thing had to happen to her, and because of that, there's always a cost to everything, even the most beautiful things. We're not going to see her for the rest of the year and part of 2026. So yeah, Jackson Drake, I thought he was great. Yes, he got put through a table, so K-Babe wasn't a great night for him, but it's not going to matter because he's going to retain the title next week. So Marks can suck it, I guess. I don't know. Who is your high spot?
Yeah, I want to just take a little bit of a side tangent here. I just forgot that we never even talked about Trick Williams and DIY on NXT. I thought this was weird as fuck, and I just want to acknowledge how insanely weird this segment was.
I want you to know that you can do that. I deliberately ignored that because I haven't given a shit about DIY in what feels like a decade, probably less, but it feels that long.
It's
And
probably
I'm just
5 years, 5 or 6 years,
yeah,
realistically, for both of us.
I just want Trick to drop the title to Mike Santana at Bound for Glory because that is another thing that I peeped in on is that Mike Santana is challenging Trick next. Drop the title to him, and then he can drop it to Ali, and then Impact will be perfect. So there you go.
All right.
That's
Yeah, that was totally unrelated to my high spot. I just realized it because I was kind of like scrolling through all the reviews looking for a high spot, but it hit me before I brought that up. A high spot for me, easily Asuka. I mean, you already
yes.
mentioned, Rhea or Raquel and Roxanne being your low shots, and part of that reason is because of Asuka, who teamed with Kairi, Kabuki Warriors to defeat them, and Asuka was the highlight of Raw for me. Her personality has really been shining through lately. I honestly think that it's a lot to do with how much better she's gotten at English just over the last year or so.
Yeah. We love Asuka in this house. The
Like we're
consummate fucking pro, honestly.
we're really getting like full blown J drama on Raw nowadays with Asuka, Kairi, and Io kind of being at odds to some degree, and then toss in the token white girl Rhea Ripley getting in between Io and the girls. I mean, yeah, that's like high tension, high drama, good stuff.
Yeah, and then Asuka being all up in Io's business like Nani and not even of the Lilo and Stitch variety. Like it is insane right now. So fucking yeah, I mean we're gonna have to see how that all resolves.
It's funny because I feel like Vicky Guerrero ruined Excuse Me, and now Asuka is single handedly reviving Excuse Us, and I love her for it.
Yeah, I mean, look, if you're not a mark, you already know the answer to this question, but I'm gonna pose it anyway because I know some people are afflicted. Sucks for you. Is there anything this woman can't do? Yeah, that's suck. That's be low quality entertainment. That's what LA Knight and Jimmy Uso are for. That vacuum is already fucking filled. So yeah, of course Asuka's bringing the primo fucking shit.
Yeah,
Hope she gets
Asuka
another
was
title run
also
before she
just
retires.
generally all over Raw this week. I think she had like 4 or 5 segments because she had the segment before her match where she was like, unlike Rhea, we don't need help. And then she had her match. And then there was a segment where Io was being interviewed, I think. Or no, Nikki. Nikki Bella was getting interviewed. Or not interviewed, she was just talking to Io. Uh, you know, trying to, give her some good vibes for the match that she has with Vicaire at WrestlePalooza. And Asuka interrupted that, shoved Nikki aside, and basically told Io, listen, Io, we three need to all be strapped up. And I want to make that happen whether you like it or not.
Yeah,
And then again later on in the night, she interrupted a Rhea interview, and that was where we got the whole "nobody's ready for Asuka, not even mommy" segment. Dude, she's all over Raw. She's killing it. She's the best character on the show right now, and I love it. So she's my high spot by a lot, I think.
excellent, excellent. Any other comments about this week in the world of wrestling?
No.
Nope. Man, your notes have been on point tonight. God damn. So all right, that's it. We're getting the hell out of here, and so should you. So please leave a like if you file loud, subscribe, click the bell icon for notifications. So no miss any of that 12 goodness. Check out everything we're involved in the description box. Follow us on Blue Sky and Twitch because we are the best wrestling podcast in all the AWC. And we will see you guys again. 5 stars done, so we only have to worry about Monday Gold. When's the next Monday Gold show, brother? Is it going to be
I probably
Monday,
Wednesday if I had to
Wednesday?
guess.
Wednesday at 6.
Probably, yeah. Let's go with 6.
All right, Wednesday at 6, because who gives a fuck about AEW? We don't. Although I will say, if I ever get into AEW, their pay-per-views I could actually watch. I mean, hopefully I get set up with a VPN soon. The family did agree to it. I'm gonna
Oh
have to
yeah,
ask them when they want to do that. But I already have
HBO
Max.
Max.
Because
Although I will say you can't watch them actually because they still charge like $40 to Max subscribers to watch their pay-per-views.
fuck that.
I
All
really
right.
thought that you were just like silent for a moment and you were gonna be like, "What?" And then you came in with the fuck.
Yeah, oh, I'm sorry, because of crisp. I did a raspberry of absurdity, and then I said fuck
Oh,
that
damn.
because that is genuinely that is stupid. That is absolutely asinine and a complete insult to my face, which given all that it has to deal with on a regular fucking basis, no. No, no. Just no. So
No.
we will see you guys Wednesday for more Money Gold as we start to wrap up the Dream Star, and then tournament season's over, and then we'll just find something else to distract ourselves with, like a kitten with a ball of yarn. So until then, enjoy the rest of your weekend, folks. Be good to yourselves and each other. Please, God, put goodness out there in the world with each other and to yourselves. And tune in and peace out.